Well, first of all, I think we need continued investment in education, but not just higher education, education at all levels. We must build into all our programs this sense of societal responsibility, entrepreneurial skills, innovation skills, and they must be embedded in our young people so that our graduates of today can provide that support to society in the future. SFI a few years ago introduced a wonderful scheme called the Undergraduate Research Experience Scheme, where we could expose undergraduate students to the research environment, to these state-of-the-art facilities which Ireland has built up over the last 10 to 15 years. And based on that, then they can go out and contribute to industry or to public bodies. I think it's very important to remember that it's not just about private industry. We must work with public agencies such as the HSE, our local authorities. So at DIT, we've just established the Environmental Health Sciences Institute, which is a very unique collaboration between us as an academic partner, but with the Health Service Executive and Dublin City Council. And that is to investigate environmental health science issues. And hopefully our graduates of the future will be trained in that arena. DIT has a very proud tradition of very career-focused education, and we provide some very unique programs in an Irish context, ranging from architecture to human nutrition and dietetics to optometry. So we very much focus all of our programs, both our research programs and undergraduate educational programs, on developing those life skills, if you like, and a very career-focused education.
Already by the stage of 2004, 2005, that there was a realization that there was a sea change within Ireland, a massive investment, I mean, in the infrastructure, but also through SFI and through other funding agencies. But there was an OECD report and from an international panel, I mean, looking at what is the state of Ireland, it's like the scientific infrastructure and development in that sense. They made a very, very important point that it's one thing to establish, you know, to invest and to establish this infrastructure, but it's very, very important to look at the sustainability. So for the first time in Irish language, or in the language of Irish sciences and academia, sustainability came in. And they made a very, very important point that it cannot be purely the responsibility of academia to sustain this whole thing, and it cannot be achieved purely just off exchequer funding, including even European funding. That's what's really, really required going forward is a real true kind of partnership between indigenous industry, between multinational industry, the small and medium-sized enterprises, that the smaller developing companies, whatever, that we really, really need, and also public bodies as well, that we really need to develop a real partnership between all of these stakeholders to really continue the development and really maximize the output from that going forwards. I would like to say, I mean, I was kind of in the early 90s, I mean, I was part of the wave of emigrants, I suppose, from Ireland at the time, because there was simply nothing to keep them. Once one was qualified, then there was nothing to go for. But it's, I then, having spent some time in Max Planck Institute, which is a German government, magnificent institute, and then in Japan, Japanese national agencies for a while, it's makes me very proud actually to come back to, having come back to Ireland in the mid to late 90s now, to really, I mean, across the country and also in DIT, I mean, we really have facilities and capacity that really rival anywhere else in the world now, and it's an exciting time, and it's an exciting time to go forward.
Well, I think it starts with DIT's very distinctive research mission. Our research is very use-inspired, so we would involve our research partners, our stakeholders, right from the start. and they must inform the type of research that we do. They must inform the research question, if you like. So for example, we would work very closely with the health service executive in the arena of environmental health sciences, and they would tell us what are the major problems at the moment that they need research carried out on. So a very specific example from the past would have been when legislation changed in Ireland about delivery trucks not being allowed, if you like, enter the city except at certain times of the day. It happened to be very early in the morning, and as we all know, our trucks are very, very noisy. So we were consulted through our Centre for Research in Engineering and Surface Technology to provide a solution to that noise problem, and we were able to work with the truck companies to develop, or to lower the noise of those. Our incubator unit, which is called Hothouse, works directly with small industries, entrepreneurs, to help them develop their product or their business. And it's across a broad range of sectors. So for example, from the tourism sector, where we have worked quite closely with the Viking splash tours, right the way through to the electronics sector. And I think in the past 8 to 9 years, Hothouse has helped in the development of over 200 companies with the creation of over 1,000 jobs.
Interdisciplinarity in general is becoming very, very important as the sciences and as the world evolves. And so I suppose that because Ireland developed so rapidly in the late 90s, over the 2000s, when this importance of interdisciplinarity was really emerging, we've been able to develop almost with a blank canvas, into the new era of science. And so within focus, particularly in DIT, we really brought together physicists, chemists, biologists, engineers, and really working together in these interdisciplinary teams, which are, although the target applications might be in the biomedical areas, but I mean, it's a very nimble type of organizations, and to be able to move and adapt to new challenges. So for example, we have chemists and biologists working side by side, looking at new anti-cancer agents. We have physicists working with the hospitals in terms of new diagnostics techniques. We have physicists and toxicologists working together, looking at, for example, new and emerging nanomaterials and nanotechnologies. And so what we have in Ireland in general, and particularly I think it's worked very well in focus, we were able to design from scratch that kind of interdisciplinarity, which makes us very, very adaptable. And I think that's going to be important going forward in the future.
But I think, as we said already, I think it's not always about commercial products. It's also, we need our research to impact on policy. So for example, a lot of the seminal work in the area of the effect of smoking was carried out in DIT in collaboration with the HSE. And the results of that research would have led to the ban on smoking in the workplace. So it's not all about an engineered product or a new drug. We must also address the societal responsibility that we have in terms of policy development.